Hi, everyone. I'm Idris Motiwala, and I'm with Couchbase. Today, I'm here to talk about how to get more insights with Couchbase Analytics. A little bit about me. I'm a principal product manager at Couchbase, leading the analytics product portfolio. I have been in the industry for 25 plus years. I work with a variety of different industries. My focus area is analytics, reporting, AI, data mining, data discovery, anything data related. All right. So before we get into details about Cloudbased Analytics, let me start with a few modern analytic challenges which modern enterprises face. There is little doubt that enterprises of different shapes and size recognize the value of data as never before. They're taking strategic decisions to become more data-driven. And becoming more data-driven is easier said than done and involves not only the adoption of new technologies, but also new approaches to data management. Developers and customers face multiple modern data analytics challenges when working with JSON data. So number one is getting business insights. With growing volumes, more variety of data, developers are faced with increased challenges in how to make data available to the users faster to enable real-time analytics on underlying operational data. Traditional data warehouses require schema modifications when JSON source data changes. Examples like this result in users unable to quickly obtain insights into what's happening in their business in order to monitor and optimize it. Also, they want to do it in a way that doesn't interfere with their operational systems or their workloads, their transactional workloads. With more data, need for more computations and complex ad hoc analytical requests with large joins, developers would like to offload these data processing requests from underlying transaction data services to analytical data processing engines, which support parallel processing with bulk data handling. As underlying data grows, there's a need to manage various data flows. There's data plumbing. You have to connect to various data pipes. And as it goes from one system to another, from one form to another, and that increases the extract, transform, load processing. And often today, this involves having to transform the data before the analytical tools can process it. And of course, this all leads to increased costs, more systems, more processes to maintain, and further adds complexity to data platform and infrastructure. Let's see how these are addressed by the Couchbase Analytics service and how the new features of remote links and external data sets make the analytics service even more powerful. So why Couchbase Analytics? Number one, to analyze JSON data using a declarative query language, which we call NoSQL, which is based off SQL++, which has it's a generalization of SQL for nested data. Very, very powerful, very familiar to developers. Number two, analytics of current operational data. You want to provide insights quickly so that they can be acted upon. Real-time analytics is integrated within a business operation. So processing current and historical data to prescribe actions in response to events, and this helps achieve competitive advantage for the modern enterprise. Number three, high performance. This is one of the core reasons why we've been on this for the last 3+ years. We want not only a highly performance application, but also scalable, so you could get the data quickly with the results on the current data fast. And lastly, this is also one of the key things of analytics service is workload isolation. So this, as folks are wanting to do more analytical capabilities, we want to make sure there's no impact on operational workloads that runs the business. So today, the businesses are deriving insights because of this. They'll be able to make better decisions, and they'll be able to grow the business if all of these enabled in their data platform and analytics architecture. So I'm going to talk about Couchbase Analytics, the use cases, the new features we announced last month, which we are very excited about. I'm going to go through a demo, and then we'll summarize. So before I get there, the traditional analytic solutions, you maybe all be aware, like typical business applications like mobile applications or web applications or your social media applications, could be ERPs, etc., logistical. You generate data, and that data gets stored in an operational database. It could be a Couchbase database, it could be a SQL server, it could be Oracle, RDBMS, it could be another form of a NoSQL database or graph database. You then essentially all this data, when it comes into an underlying database, you batch the data for reporting and essentially put it into an analytical database. And then you batch it from there to put it and get it to an analytical tool. So it could be a Tableau, your Power BI, it could be a Rapid Miner, or it could be one of your data mining tools, and then you pipe the result back into the application. So what are the challenges? Well, our customers who are using this prior to using Couchbase and Couchbase Analytics, they wanted to isolate analytical workloads from operational workloads. These were customers who were even using Couchbase without analytics service. They were unable to perform analytics on JSON data with relational databases prior to Couchbase. They wanted to explore, analyze data in real time before publishing to a data warehouse. And in this case, I would say near real time as well, because real time, in this case, the customer wanted because there were certain processes taking place, but also near real time. And they found the central data warehouse schema to be a little bit rigid, and their accesses are tightly controlled at the corporate level, right? And they require data schema modifications when JSON source data changes, and that was becoming a cumbersome pain point. Also, the query service was not optimized for ad hoc and complex queries. And the customers face increased challenges as the data grows in running complex ad hoc queries, and performance is impacted, and at times are unable to meet their SLA. So what we did was, you can see the business application with Couchbase data platform and analytics platform. You can see the operational data coming in. We store it in our data services, and then we have analytics service, which is another node from where we can actually get all the data transported, which is using DCP called Database Change Protocol. Essentially, Couchbase Analytics service helps help the users create shadow copies of the data they would like to further analyze. And when these shadow data sets, which is a subset of the buckets or underlying documents which get created, they're connected to a data service, and any change in the operational data here, right, are reflected in the analytics service in real time. And the business users can then query the analytics data using Nickel for analytics and pipe it into their analytics tool real time. And that makes a huge difference, because now your operational workload is separate and the analytical workload is separate. And Couchbase Analytics is architected on a unique, massively parallel processing architecture among core and source query engine that uses parallel data management design to efficiently run complex queries over massive data sets. By complex queries, we mean large ad hoc joins, sets, aggregations, grouping operations, any of which may result in long-running queries, high CPU usage, high memory consumption, and or excessive network latency due to data fetching and cross-node coordination. So the key takeaway here is no impact on operational workflows due to workload isolation. So before we get a little bit on Couchbase Analytics more, I want to talk about key concepts of what is a Dataverse and dataset. A Dataverse is a namespace, is an overarching top-level organizing concept. There is a default Dataverse always created. The system has it built in, but you can create your own Dataverses. So you can organize your lines of business applications into its own Dataverse. Then there is datasets, essentially, which are containers that hold collections of JSON objects linked to a bucket, which is like a database. Bucket is like a database, and you can have documents within that. Very similar to tables in RDBMS or key spaces in Nickel. So a value proposition here is analytics. Couchbase Analytics helps users analyze JSON data in near real time without the need to extract, transform, or load, right? And don't have to load into a separate system. It allows you to develop insight-driven application easily and quickly. And the two focus areas I want to talk about here is operation analytics and real time. Operation analytics is a process to use data analyses and business intelligence to improve efficiency and streamline everyday operations in real time. This is a new set of combination of database workload and system demands to achieve competitive advantage for the modern enterprise. So we enable faster decisions and help expand the growth in new customers into new products, launching a new product in the market, and time to market and time to insights is key. And that's where Couchbase Analytics plays a pivotal role in enabling that. All right, so let's talk about a few customer use cases. The first one of our domains is e-commerce customer. They're using Couchbase Analytics to do real-time marketing campaigns and personalized ordering experience. Their requirement was, hey, we wanted to do data science experiments and data mining and data discovery in near real time. So they wanted to, they have an enterprise data warehouse, which was taking them a long time for the data to pipe in there, and there was data governance and processes built in there. It slowed them down. It was taking them weeks or months. And so they extracted a portion of the data, what was relevant, and they directly connected that to their data science experimentation, where they were measuring, they were acting it, they were data mining models, and they were using RapidMiner and analyze the data in near real time. So this addresses the key pain point which we just talked about earlier. Another one is finance. One of the finance customer, it's a big bank based out of Europe, and they manage insurance products and assets and a variety of different products, financial products. They wanted to compute and identify complex pricing and do risk scoring on various financial products and collaterals. And their data was all sitting in SQL Server. And first of all, it was very cumbersome for them they couldn't do analytics without flattening them. So first they had to get the data out and they had to flatten it. And then they moved to Couchbase Server. And they moved to Couchbase Analytics, and they were able to seamlessly run their queries in much faster time. It was taking them close to 15-20 minutes to run some of the queries, and now they were able to run in seconds. And the key was they were able to do the data analysis without the need for any ETL. So analytics service data moved in, and boom, they were getting it. Third one is healthcare customer. Their use case was they wanted to do much more robust and much more solid reporting or BI for health visits, procedures, as you can imagine. And it's very relevant in this scenario where we are in right now, where their customers are hospitals and medical organizations. They were being asked with more demand of data. It's like, what's happening with this thing at this time, and why are things canceling? What's the impact on my revenues for their customers? So they had to, their reasoning was scale, and their data architecture had to grow to meet the increased voluminous data and the demands. And they were using query workloads, and that was not meeting the goal. So they re-architected the whole thing to include analytics service. They use Nickel for analytics. They are completely a Microsoft shop. They use Azure. They use Power BI, and a partner of CData, which provides the client database connectivity. They partition the data by time and various other dimensions and attributes, and optimize the system load with very predictable performance. All right, let's talk about what's new in Couchbase release 6.6. We are so excited about this, and so are our customers. So the first one is remote links. Now, remote links allows ingestion of data from a remote data services or key value cluster into an analytics cluster. It enables consolidation from multiple Couchbase clusters. You can get more data in a singular place that allows you to gather more insights, because now you can do more correlation across different data sets. It allows you to bring data in, and it is absolutely provides you the visibility and totality of the data. So in this example, the customer service data could be in a cluster, in a Couchbase cluster. Shopping cart data could be in a cluster, and the social media information could be in reviews, etc., in another cluster. So now with remote links, you can create an analytics cluster. It allows you to create a cluster. You don't have to, but having an analytics cluster helps you reduce the total cost of ownership with centralized data and improves your resource utilization. The second, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about is an example and do a demo on remote links. So there's a company, XCOM, a Couchbase customer. It's an e-commerce company. It sells office furniture, stationery, and a variety of different products. They have 3 Couchbase data nodes and 2 analytic nodes. So this is their application. It comes to the web portal. They have JSON documents written, and they're storing into into this cluster. But there's been a business change, and due to new consumer privacy and taxation laws in Europe, XCOM has moved their European orders to a new Couchbase cluster. So they have now whatever they had early on. So they have the non-European nodes, which includes the US and the rest of the world, and this is the European data node. So they have to separate it all out. So the challenge is they want to see all the top 3 selling products for each countries across, and we have the data at the state level as well, to optimize inventory planning and forecast revenue goals. They want to analyze using existing analytics nodes. Remember, they had 3 data nodes and 2 analytics nodes, and based on the outcome, they'll then set up deciding on they want to create an analytics cluster. All right. So how do we use remote links? And this is a great way, because now we have separated into 2 different clusters. 3 steps. One is setting up a remote link. You can use an API or a CLI to manage. This is an example of the API where you provide the analytics host information, the Dataverse, in this case default, because we covered this key concept early on, the name of the link, the type of the link, in this case it's Couchbase type link because it's talking to a remote data service cluster which is already in Couchbase, and the credentials of that. For the purposes of this demo, I've already pre-created this link, and let's go jump and see this in action. So this is our server. I'm just going to show you that this link has been created from our metadata information that we did, that the link is up and running. So the next thing is we are going to create a data set on all the non-US related orders, right? So, and at that particular remote link, which I've created for non-US. It's done. Now we have to do one step, which is after you create a data set, you have to connect the link. If you want to connect the link, then it'll start getting the data set. As you can start seeing the number of data starting to come, the mutations, it's starting to work. We were talking about the database change protocol information. The data is all starting to stream from this remote. It's a different server altogether. So let's look into the challenge of getting the top 10 information for. Actually, we need top 3 selling products in the US. So and the rest of the countries in Europe. So we're going to break this down query into piecemeal it. So first, we're going to get the top 3 products within the US from the US orders. This is already a pre-created data set because it's already existing. We will then get the same set now, but except from another data set that's a non-US orders, right? Which is the one we just created. And then we will union both of these data and apply a window function, right? And partition by the country. So it can only result in the top 3 for each country, right? By the product ID and the amount. And then finally, we'll hook it up and write up the query to do the products and the countries, etc., and we'll execute this thing. So as you can see, this is actually the total number of records is around 1 million in this small example. Again, it's a very small number, but you can see that you can get the data from the United States and the top 3 products, and then you can start seeing the countries of Europe and their top 3 data sets as well. So it's very, very interesting. So now we can get the data for all of these in a single federated way. This is across the Couchbase clusters. Just to give you an example, we can apply it to Tableau. You can use Power BI, and you can take the query and you can build it out into your favorite BI tool. This is NOE. Let me just kind of show you exactly. In NOE, we created this dashboard for all the countries we have here, and you can see that we could see the top 3 countries in the US products, and we can even look at the one in Estonia, or we can even look back and see. Let's see the one in Italy, and I'll show you the information right here. So you have the ability to create rich interactive dashboard and look at the data from various countries and play with it. So the message here is Couchbase Analytics service. You can plug into any of these visualization tools. We have partners, and we work with CData, which enables you to connect it with your ODBC and JDBC drivers and connectivity into your favorite BI tools and other data mining and data discovery tools as well. So remote link benefits. Number 1, holistic insights. You get more data in a singular place that allows customers to gather more insights, more correlations across different sets of data across different clusters. Real-time data sync, right, allows data ingestion from remote KV clusters, which is key values, to an analytics cluster, which enables data consolidation. And there's cost effectiveness. It reduces the total cost of ownership with centralized data management and improved resource utilization. All right. Let's talk about the second feature which we have for external data sets. Essentially, this is the ability to query and analyze external data residing on Amazon S3. And it also analyzes historical data. For example, a lot of customers put the historical data in S3 with customer and product data in Couchbase. You can see in the query right here, you get customer and orders data sitting in analytics service. You have your S3 data, which is got, let's say, your product reviews, or it's got some pricing information, and you could get that information seamlessly connected. It's real time. It's and dynamically retrieved during the query execution. And we'll do a little demo on this one as well. So let's get started on this. I'm excited. here again, same company which we visited earlier, they would like to identify the top selling products across US and Europe. Not only from the archives, but they also want to do it from the current orders and spot the historical trends and launch product pricing promotions. So their engineering team would like to analyze using Couchbase Analytics. So how can we use external data sets here? So here, very simple. You set up the S3 link. You create the data set on S3 link, and then you run either your query or you combine your favorite BI tool and get your result set. And again, as example here for S3 link, this is the analytics host name. Provide which dataverse you want to create it on, the name of your link, and the access keys and the credentials for AWS S3. For the purposes of this demo, I've already pre-created this the S3 link, so we can directly go and create the external data sets and into our demo. All right, let's go in here. Also, while I'm doing this here, I'll actually open up the S3 console and actually show where this data is located beforehand, so you can get an idea as to where this information is. As you can see, this is in the this is the bucket right here, and this is the location e-commerce, and within that is archives, right? And this is all the JSON files, all the orders of all of the non-US and the US, all sitting right here. And let's go here, and just to show you early on, that we have created the. Let's go. Oh, sorry. All right. Let's go here. I wanted to go in this one and show you that S3 link has already been pre-created beforehand. Let's go and create the external data set on S3, right? And so this is where we're going to create an S3 orders name. This is going to be the bucket, the one which I was showing you earlier here. This is the bucket. Then the name of my S3 link. This is the location where all the JSON files are located. We're specifying format JSON. You can also use CSV and TSV. With CSV and TSV, you have to provide your own inline definition of your structure of your data. That way, it knows whether it's an integer, it's a character, etc. But if it's JSON, it's already predefined. Plus, you can also include a kind of wildcard characters and say, hey, you want to only see these sets of files or these set of folders. Within that, you can specify a lot of that as well. Everything is in our documentation, so please go. Heavily encourage you to go and visit them online. So let's go create this, and you see right here we did it, and the S3 orders data set is now created on that particular bucket and in that location. So you must be wondering, okay, what happened to our challenge where they wanted to see the top 3 products of all the countries from the archives, which we just created here, as well as from the existing current orders. So we take the same query which we had early on, and I'm not going to go through that piece because we already did that early on. What we're going to add to that is we're using common table expressions here. So we're creating, it's almost like a mini kind of virtual table result set right here before executing it. And this is where we're getting the data for S3 and connecting with the line items and getting the country information, the product information, the pricing information. And as you can see, we've got all this data from the current non-US data, the US data as well, all of them together. And now we'll finally hook it all up and execute this query. What we're doing here is we're actually now getting the top 3 country. We are actually getting the product information. We're getting some computations. We're doing some rounding, etc. And essentially, it's going through all this information right here and the information right here, as well as a remote link. So this is a great example. In fact, we're not only doing just getting data from S3, we're actually getting and combining the data with the data in Couchbase, and one of them is sitting on another remote server. So this is all orchestrating, and it came back right here. You can see the data for country, United States, and you see other European countries as well. What the previous archive amount was, what's the current amount, what is increased or decreased. It could be decreased as well. In that case, it would be a negative number, and these are the products, the top products within that country. So very, very exciting. There are a lot of use cases here. The beauty about this is real time and dynamic. So let's go back to a presentation here and wrap it up. The external data sets benefits are, it's enabling data enrichment, which means Couchbase resident data can now be enriched.
Your screen sharing has been disconnected.
With additional information obtained from files that reside in an enterprise's existing S3-based data lake. Dynamic data access, the latest data can be dynamically retrieved, streamed, combined, and analyzed from any S3 bucket in any AWS region during analytics query execution. And there's faster time to insights because of the massively parallel performance architecture for optimized workloads. Users can configure and arrange access to S3 using analytics MPP query processing architecture for fast performance to queries which involve external data. All right, to summarize it, key benefits of Couchbase Analytics Service. Number one is workload isolation. It separates the transactional workload and analytical workloads, and it uses the DCP, as we talked about, the database change protocol, a fast memory-to-memory protocol between operational nodes and analytical nodes that allows the operational and analytical queries to run concurrently. Hence, no impact on operational workflows due to workload isolation. There's no ETL for NoSQL analytics. What we mean by this is there's no separate infrastructure or programming required for operational JSON analytics. It complements your data warehouse. It complements your data lakes. It also is an analytical JSON data, complex JSON queries, and data is high fidelity, more recent, and updated more frequently, and it's more real time. Also, there's continuous sync. There's fast and continuous sync of operational data, continuously ingested for real-time analytics. And analytics service enables organizations to derive those insights on operational data in real time. Also, it's very easy to manage, and it's a simple nickel for analytics interface, simple SQL-like language, simplified operations, support like declarative language and manageability within a single platform. It reduces the complexity model, the language and the management. It takes 6 clicks to add a node, to rebalance it, and get it done. It's as easy as that. And we're very, very excited. So our Couchbase Analytics team has been working on this for 3+ years, and we've come a far way, and we're so mature now, and organizations are now looking at it and like, wow, you guys are actually doing the hybrid transactional analytical processing or hybrid operational analytical processing, which is an industry term where a lot of the modern enterprises have started to embrace that because they want analytics as and when operational data is being created. And so to that end, I would like to suggest that we have our Connect online conference coming up next month. It's a free conference. It's open to everybody. And it's a free 3-day virtual event. Look at these analytics events. I'm giving a keynote along with the enterprise architect, and I'm also doing some sessions and demos on other areas as well. So I recommend please to check us out. Also check our resources, our documentation, and thank you very much. And it has been a pleasure to be part of this conference. Have a great conference.